the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Friday morning. We are so glad that you joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. Brett, Faith, how are you this morning?
It's Friday, actually Friday this time, and
you were trying to speed the week up yesterday, but I'm okay with that. Anytime you can get closer to the weekend, I'm okay with it.
Hey, so it's finally here. I walked outside this morning and it's not misty and gloomy the way it has been the last couple of days. So praying there's actually some good weather today.
But it's not. It's not, unfortunately. This afternoon looks terrible.
Perfect.
So I hate to be gloom and doom for you on the weather forecast, but yeah, it doesn't look really, really nice as far as that's concerned. But anyway, we'll get through it. And, I felt kind of the mood of Ole Miss fans this morning, I guess, as they ponder what could have been, how close that was. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. That one more playoff game tonight, and then the national championship game on the 19th. So college football season will officially be over. And does it really ever end? Because then you just get ready for spring. And more importantly, for our team that we cover, the Auburn Tigers pick up another big addition, this time on the defensive side of the football. We're going to talk about that. And Cody Sigler, we'll give you a portal tracker update. There's a lot to update there. And then indisputable video evidence, according to the SEC. Okay. Whatever. Anyway, we got our thoughts on that. Had a good day at Bunkers yesterday. I think, always fun times being there. Again, tonight, with it being rainy and crappy and stuff, why don't you go to Bunkers and hang out and watch the game? That's a good place to go. And then, of course, the Auburn-Arkansas game coming up on Saturday. A lot to talk about on that game, as it's a must-win, Faith, for Auburn. I mean, I hate to go ahead and start saying that 3 games into an SEC schedule, but it's really the truth. I mean, you got to win that game if you want to have any hopes really to get things turned around. But let's talk about Cody Sigler first. A guy that Auburn obviously needs, and a lot of teams wanted. He's got 2 years left to play. Last year for Arkansas State, 35 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 6 batted passes. That stat line, when I look at that, tells me that's an active guy. It's a very active defensive lineman. And, everybody, the descriptions have been, a little edgy, a little dirty, a little gruff. Isn't that what you want in a defensive lineman?
Yeah, I mean, don't forget who came from Arkansas State a couple of years ago in Kieron Crawford. So, a familiar kind of maybe area of getting a guy there. So, yeah, I mean, he's somebody that like you said, he's active, and it's somebody who has some experience, not in the SEC, but still has some experience out there playing. And, there's a lot of young guys that need some help in that area and bringing in, guys for depth too. So I hope this is not the last of somebody on the D line that we're going to get, but
it better not be.
Yeah. I mean,
it better not be. If it is, it's a problem. Last night, Alex Golesh said they're about halfway done. You and I looked at it yesterday. And if my memory serves me correctly, you may be able to pull it faster than me. The transfers in versus the transfers out currently where Auburn is, according to the basically the ranking system of where your average stars are, what you're losing versus what you're gaining. And again, a lot of times on the incoming, the star rankings aren't going to be as high collectively because
Mhm.
then you're trying to fill gaps, and that goes for everybody. You may pick up a really stud like a Byron Brown. You may pick up a stud player, but overall, the volume of the people that you're bringing in going to be ranked less. Auburn had 34 guys get in the portal with that of those 25 were 3 stars, 6 were 4 stars, and 1 5-star, obviously being Cam Coleman. So far, Auburn has had 13 come in the portal. I think maybe Sigler adds 14. We need to count that list.
Yeah.
Check that out for me if you don't mind.
Yep.
Maybe 13. I know it's at least 13, maybe 14 now. Of those coming in, you got 1 4-star, 12 3-stars, according to the last list I had. And if you add Cody Sigler to that list, if he makes 14, that'll be
14, yeah.
okay. So 14, so that's 13 3-stars now. According to the adjusted NIL value, you lost $7.5 million. You've only added 1.8.
But that's where you have so much more opportunity to go out there and offer some, who knows, maybe lower ranked
Right,
guys, lower
right,
star guys to come to your school and offer them a little bit more
right.
money than maybe some other people,
But,
or use that incentive in a
right.
different way.
But let me go back and correct myself. I think the adjusted NIL value 7.5 went out. You're still 1.8 to the good because they paid a boatload of money to Byron Brown. So
Well, yeah, and again, that's not even counting what we've been hearing go around with Deuce Knight and the potential of him coming
right.
back and the offering there and everything too.
So Deuce is in that 34 number out right now, so that could change. Could. I mean, we'll see. That saga continues to to drag on and kind of hang around, but that's an interesting number to follow. As far as what's your bank account look like? Bottom line, that kind of to for lack of better terms, what's your bank account look like? And you're spending money where you feel like you need to spend it. Like I told you yesterday, the perception of Auburn changed immediately amongst national pundits when Byron Brown signed with Auburn.
Mhm.
Now, what are we talking about right now if Auburn's still trying to figure out who the quarterback's going to be next year? Now, again, I think you're going to add another quarterback in this room, but what is that conversation me and you are having right now? I mean, several days into this portal being open, 7 days into the portal being open. I mean, we're all sitting here, and this comment section is probably full of what the heck are we going to do? But we don't have to have that conversation, thank God.
I mean, finally, like, it feels like we've been just on this roller coaster of a ride, and
But my point is that how quickly your whole mindset nationally can change,
yeah.
when you get the right guy. And, you go watch film, and I don't want to try to, make comparisons or whatever, but, unless it is just, again, some major collapse. I think Peyton Thorne and I think Jackson Arnold were guys you go, well, maybe they can come in and fit, and maybe they can get a fresh start. And Byron Brown doesn't need a fresh start. Byron Brown's already proved what the heck he can do, and he's put the numbers up. Now, I know you naysayers out there go, well, didn't Peyton Thorne put up some big numbers one year at Michigan State? And he did. Look, he did. He didn't put the numbers up that Byron Brown put up 2 times. And the only
But
reason he didn't do it 3 times, Faith, let's be honest, is because he got
'cause
hurt.
but the other thing with that too is in this situation, you're bringing in the coach that has coached him up and, that is
I don't think that
proven.
needs to be undersold either.
Yeah, and that is proven to, advance this athlete. And so that's the part that you and I talked about a lot, was that there was no progression with a lot of, offensive players when Hugh Freeze and, Brian Harsin too, was at Auburn, is that there was no growth and development for these guys. And because you have a proven track record with Alex Golesh and Byron Brown, that is where you can have that confidence, and you don't have to have that uncertainty of what's going to happen to this guy, because we kept saying everyone that comes to Auburn gets ruined. But now with this whole turnover and change, I don't think you have to think that way anymore.
I don't think you have to think that way anymore. And Glenn has a good comment here that really segued. It was, perfect timing, Glenn. That's all I can tell you. Perfect timing for you to help me segue into the next thing I want to talk about. I sent you something yesterday, or it may have been this morning early. I can't tell when it is, but the roster talent comparison of the final four teams left in college football. And Glenn said, how do you feel about reloading with 3-star players in the SEC? And Kurt Herbstreit last night, I thought, said something very, very interesting. And I also feel like you and I have talked about culture the last 3 days in sports, and continuity and chemistry, especially about this basketball team. He said, you better quit chasing 5 stars and street agents, and you better build a team. And he said, Indiana's built a team. And I think people are getting exhausted with this. And I think you got to get back down to brass tacks and go, I need to go find guys that want to be here and that will actually get after it a little bit. And they're not prima donna-ish and expect everything to be given to them. They may be immaculate as far as their potential and talent level, but it does no good if you get half-ass effort, excuse my language. And I really feel that way. And when you look at this, Faith, if you got it pulled up, looking at the 4 remaining teams and what their roster breakdown is, numbers don't lie. Like we always talk about, numbers don't lie. Well, they don't. Numbers do not lie for good things and bad things. And there's no, outside of Oregon, the other 3 teams, of course, and when you go back and look at every pundit's preseason pick for national champion, the only one on this list that had a pick was Oregon. And I think 1 or 2 people had that. But outside of that, it really wasn't. Miami, Ole Miss, Indiana, nobody had them on their bingo card at all. So, Glenn makes a good point. How do you feel about reloading with 3-star, guys in the SEC, whatever? Am I still there with you guys?
You're definitely frozen. I can still hear you, but
I'm
frozen.
For sure. Like, I don't know if I'm coming back or not. So, anyway, I'll keep talking and maybe it'll clear up. There it is.
There we go. Yeah.
Lovely technology, but I'll let you read off the roster comparisons right now of those 4 teams.
Yeah, with starting at Miami at number 10, they've got 5 5-star players and 44 stars.
That's a good roster. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong.
Ole Miss, 3 5-star players, 33 4-star players. Oregon with 6 5-star players and 52 4-star players.
Right.
And Indiana with 0 5-star players and 7 4-star players. The difference that you and I have kept talking about with some of these teams is the urgency and will to work for what you want and to work hard, and not realizing that everything is handed to you the way that some people think. And that is what Alex Golesh is trying to change the culture at Auburn, to have that kind of Indiana mentality. And right now for them, it is working out the way they want it to.
And Big Jink comes in and goes, comparing the classification of the student athletes on Indiana's football team compared to AU, those are grown men compared to AU's youngsters. I get that too.
Yeah.
I understand that. Hey, guess what? Kudos to them for hanging around and building a program. That's what we're talking. That is the theme of what we're talking about right now in the moment on this show, is that what has been getting lost in all this, in chasing the 5 stars and all of the things that you're trying to do, is you've lost the ability to build a program. And then I know the culture and the layout of college football has predicated this. It's a revolving door in and out, but you start hearing analysts, you start hearing coaches, you start hearing more people going, we got to get back to figuring out how to keep people around more than a year, and building on something like, we're looking at this basketball team right now. And I know basketball's always been more of a revolving door, one and done stuff.
Mhm.
Most of the time it was the Kentuckys, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, guys leaving to go to the draft. So you're having to replace, one and doners. Now it's the portal, and everybody's having to deal with it. Auburn has 11 brand new guys on its roster in basketball. And you and I talked about this yesterday. It's more impactful in basketball than it is in football, because you got a smaller net group of guys that you're going to use and you
Mhm.
have to rely on. And we've seen Auburn's a perfect example of what you got with an older team that guys hung around. You did add a few pieces and you built that chemistry. You can do really good things. But when you bring a bunch of talent in and it doesn't seem like guys are playing together and they're not doing the things they need to do, the talent is there on paper, but the results aren't coming on the floor because there's no chemistry.
Right. And I understand when Tubbs is saying that the JMU team was different. They'd been together for 3 plus years. This USF talent is not what Indiana has. But that's the thing. Here's the consistency of staying together for 3 plus years. Do you see what that's done for a program and for a team?
Do you
That
think
is
there's
how.
also something to wanting to come and play for your coach too? Like some of these, not to cut you off, Faith, I'm sorry, but the skill guys Auburn's getting, I think a lot of people like those guys. And if you add Singleton to the mix, you're going to go, well, the wide receiver room, of course, you don't replace Cam Coleman star wise, but Singleton's pretty damn good. And some of these other guys, Koger and all, I think you're fine there. What you and I said is you don't want to see loading up on the lines of scrimmage from South Florida.
Mhm.
You need to be
Yeah.
going and getting guys from other places, but it's all a mixed bag, and I get the JMU analysis there, but I think the guys that Auburn's picking up from South Florida, we all said at the beginning, those were the ones we'd be okay getting.
Well, even Brett, let's think about it like this. Let's break it down so much to the point of when you've got guys playing little league together and they go and they play travel ball together, and then somebody grows up and they decide to go to a different high school than everybody that they played little league and travel ball with. Obviously, that school that has all those kids that have stayed together from little league to then high school, and the one few kids that left to go to a different high school, they're not going to have the same chemistry and relationship that the ones that
Right.
stayed together did. Even if it was the star player that went and left, they don't have the same, chemistry and growth. And so that's why in college football, it is so much harder to, have the not even just football and basketball too, have that same development years on because everyone's just leaving and going for 1 year, 2 years, and so having Byron Brown be the control center of the offense,
Exactly.
having some of those, team position players come in, tight end, receiver, running back, that makes it so much better because they've played together and they know their style,
Continuity.
and that's why the offensive line, you do wanna go out there and get different players because that's not direct it is directly impacting, the safety of
Right.
Byron Brown and is, giving him time and things like that to make something happen, but knowing your guys on how they run their routes, are they consistent running their routes? How is your running back gonna do this? Makes such a huge difference.
It makes up a gap,
Yes.
where you're going to have to not worry about, all you're doing is changing geographical spots. You're going from Florida to Auburn, Alabama. And, the key piece in this thing was Byron Brown. I think we all know that, again, getting the best player the one a lot of people wanted to come and follow Alex Golesh here was was by far. If you didn't get any of the rest of them, you wanted him. And
Right.
then you look at Koger, you look at Singleton, who I feel like will eventually end up at Auburn. I think your wide receiver room's fine at that point. And now, it goes right back to the focus of the lines of scrimmage. But I think JJ just said that. You just said it, that you don't have to worry about building relationships with those guys. Now they've got to build relationships with the guys that are at Auburn.
Already here.
Yeah, and you're gonna go through spring and the summer and all that kind of stuff. And that's great. The guys that are obviously at Auburn still wanted to be there. And that's a huge part. So yeah, it's a pretty big cup. It
Shout
is.
out Pepper Tree for
That's
it.
it. That's it. She doesn't go she's not dehydrated for sure. But I think that, you look at it from that standpoint, and that again, I hate to continue to use undersold, but people undersell that a lot when they go, well, we're just getting a bunch of South Florida guys. Well, there's more to it than that. And
Yeah.
you don't want to just grab a bunch. And look, I also know that a lot of these South Florida guys go, man, look, yeah, it's a great opportunity for me. I get to go play in the SEC now. This is a
Mhm.
major upgrade for me, a step up, to play in the SEC and play for a place like Auburn.
While they also know the expectation of their
Correct.
coach and what it means to
Right.
come to the SEC to play there because, hey, we're not doing it the same way we did it at South Florida. We're doing it a different way because it
Right.
is the SEC. And sure, you do have an opportunity to make some more money, but we are doing the incentives, and you're not just going to get, $500,000 for just coming here. It is going to be different. And I really like that part of it.
I do too. So let's all pump the brakes and kind of see you're making progress. And I think that's the important part. 14 guys now in, 34 went out. Going to add at least 14 more, I think, by the time all is said and done. That puts you at about 28. You may not
Then
get
you've
to
got
34, but some of those guys may come back too.
yeah, and then
You know,
you've still got that,
high
um,
school window.
high school, yeah, that February 3rd, last day.
But I think you're going to add 14 more. I think it's going to be somewhere around that number. If I'm reading what Alex Golesh said yesterday, he said we're about halfway there. Well, halfway of that is another 14. So how does that break down? That's what we're going to talk about here next on the Auburn Blitz. But first, let's talk about some of our partners because again, none of this would be possible without them.
Green for air that's cool and clean. Call on Green whether you need it to be cool or warm. Green is going to use a carrier unit, and they are the experts in the state of Alabama. They're proud supporters of Auburn athletics and a proud supporter of Auburn Blitz. You want to make sure you have a reliable unit, and carrier is the unit for you. I mean, you want to also have trusted people inside your homes, and also, that they're not ripping you off. Green wants to help save you money, and that is, I mean, something you can't ask for
Yeah,
more.
you want trustworthy people coming in and out of your house. Since Green and talking about trustworthy people, Scout Program Management, that's what they do. They're in the business of saying, look, we're going to hold people accountable. Scout Program Management, scoutpm.com for your next major construction project from the pre-construction phase all the way to the finished product to the times you get the keys. Hey, look, when you get the keys, after Scout Program Management goes through everything is done to standard. And again, that's important because the last thing you want to do is have a project finish. You spent millions of dollars and all of a sudden you got all these repairs and things that weren't done correctly and everybody's pissed off. So call on Scout Program Management, scoutpm.com today.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn, the place to go. I mean, we were just there yesterday and we were talking about it when we first hopped on. Had so much fun there. I mean, I cannot tell you how beautiful the downstairs little area that they have renovated and changed is. I mean, they've got 2 stages now, so lots of live music is going to be going on there. And if you can't make it to the game on Saturday, go there because Bunkers is going to be the place to watch the basketball game. And tonight for that college football playoff game, go over to Bunkers. It's going to be so much fun. I already know it, and Get the mac and cheese bites too.
My gosh, no
Those are
kidding.
fire.
Holy crap, those things are unbelievable. Yeah, Tubbs, I don't know what the holdup is. He is definitely one you want for sure. You go back and watch Byron Brown's highlights, a lot of it's going to him. So Ronald he says we can't go anywhere but up. Auburn is already a trouble program, so blowing it up, starting fresh, getting behind the coach. I have no problem with that statement. I mean, because that's part of correcting an L and fixing a problem is admitting it, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've all admitted on this show the last 5 years have been less than enjoyable. And the worst thing you can say, Alex Golesh, amen to this quote. He said, the worst thing you never say is we've always done it this way. Well, if you've always done it this way and you get these results, maybe you need to change. So, yeah, I definitely think when the dust settles that because now Byron Brown and all these other guys, why wouldn't you want to come up here?
Yeah.
If you're Keyshawn Singleton. So something about Singletons, right? We gotta
I know.
bring in the Singleton guys. All right, let's look at this transfer portal tracker and kind of where we are. And look, we don't normally cross promote other places, but our good friends over at Auburn 24/7, Jason Caldwell, they do a great job. And if you want to see some of this on paper, you want to see it with your eyes. They do a really, really good job over there of kind of keeping you on track with the portal. We're going to talk about it on here. Looking at my notepad's a lot less enjoyable than looking at their list. So we'll just go through this and kind of show and see where we are in some of these position groups and kind of what is going to go on and kind of what we think might happen. So it's obviously the given quarterback position. You got who you wanted, Byron Brown. You do have a visit coming from Oregon State's Tristan Tia. Last year, I mean, not a lot of numbers. Obviously, he's got 4 years to play, but that's one that you're looking at. Of course, you already got Lachlan Hewlett, Faith, from South Florida. So you got the two South Florida guys. Not very much numbers on him, but both of those guys, the Tia kid and Hewlett kid, both have 4 years of eligibility. So you got one of them. Do you need to add one more quarterback? I think you do.
Yeah, especially when you don't know what's happening with Deuce Knight and whether he's going to come back or leave, stay, who knows?
Could that, I mean, if you get it again, we don't know the conversations, but what is the internal deadline for some of these guys
Yeah,
to come
that's
back?
what we talked about earlier throughout all this is how long until you say, never mind, we don't really want to welcome you back for real. Like,
right. Yeah. At what point?
I don't know that they're going to do that with Deuce Knight, but
look, let's be honest. Some guys have a longer window than others, a larger window than others. They like, if you're over here barely ever played and a walk-on or something like that, you're going, okay, that ship sailed. But if you're a 5-star quarterback that's trying to decide if you want to come back or not, you're giving them a little bit more leeway to, that could be taken right up until the end of the, I don't know, but I think you'll know something within a week on that for sure. All right, running back. We talked about this yesterday. Would be huge, I think, to get Bryson Washington from Baylor. He's got 2 years of eligibility. He is expected to make a visit. You've got the Davenport kid already from South Florida. So you add that to the mix. But if you add one more really, I mean, Alvin Henderson's obviously still at Auburn, but you could add another running back in this room, maybe two. And I think that's kind of where you need to be.
Yeah, we talked about Bryson Washington last year and I guess yesterday about before we even went to go play
Right.
Baylor because, he was somebody that we wanted to watch and see. he was impressive against Auburn. Couldn't stop him at the beginning of the game, but could add a huge element to, the backfield.
Yeah, and him splitting time with another back. I mean, truly splitting time at Baylor. He still had 788 yards rushing
Yeah.
last year. So a big back, again, would be a good compliment, I think, Jeremiah Cobb back there. All right, wide receiver, I think Auburn, look, you lose Malcolm, you lose Perry. I mean, Perry didn't really ever perform, but Horatio Fields wasn't at Auburn long enough to really see. I hate that.
Mhm.
I hate he got injured early. I think he was going to contribute a lot this year. And then, of course, Cam Coleman. Nobody wanted to see Cam leave, but you replace, we've talked about it, Koger, Neptune, Pettigrew, and some of these guys, Nimrod, some of them very small numbers. Pettigrew, only 3 catches. But Koger, 38 catches, Neptune, 38 catches. But the one, obviously, we're looking for is Singleton, Faith.
Yeah, that's the one that takes the cake for everybody. I mean, he's got 2 more years left. So
And one more, he's a great one, but Auburn's had a visit from Noah Rogers. And,
yeah, NC State.
little fast fact here, he was high school teammates with Byron Brown. And he is the number 24 ranked portal wide receiver. And he's higher ranked than Singleton. Now, Singleton's numbers phenomenal, but Rogers had 33 catches, 441 yards, and 2 touchdowns last year. He's got 2 years of eligibility left too. Again, this eligibility stuff, you're year to year, man. You can't be looking, oh, they got 3 years. Or they going the chances of them being around, if you're good, you're probably going to go pro. If not, things don't work out. And then Mylan Graham from Ohio State. And remember, he was the number 1 receiver in his class in 24. He's got 3 years of eligibility left. Only 6 catches this past year, 93 yards. But you got him visiting. Noah Rogers has visited, and then you got Singleton. Man, if you get 2 of those guys, any combination of that, that's pretty impressive. And then also you got Kyle Parker from LSU, who had decent numbers this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Malcolm-ish numbers this year.
Yeah. Yeah. He had, 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, 31 receiving, 2 years left of eligibility. 24/7 has him at the 57 ranked receiver. Could also, be used in that Malcolm position that, obviously Malcolm's gone.
Right. I'll let you have the next position group.
The tight end position.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because it has been such a train wreck at Auburn for so long.
It has. But
these 2 guys, could one of these 2 guys kind of step up that Auburn's had that just got them recently? I mean,
yeah. And
can Ryan Gee do it? I mean,
yeah, these 2 guys that have committed already are familiar for these coaches. Jonathan Eccles from USF, he had 9 receiving, 109 yards, 3 touchdowns, 18th ranked tight end in the portal.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, good. That is pretty good. And, he is a bigger guy too that we talked about. Xavier Newsome from Howard, and that is where Larry Porter or Larry Scott, I'm sorry, the tight ends coach is from. He was the head coach at Howard. So again, someone that
he's a big dude.
Yeah, is familiar. This guy is a big dude. Yep. He didn't have the numbers really. He had 9 yards and a touchdown.
Throwing to the tight end, Faith, and multiple times was open and made big plays in the game. I know they didn't win, but man, to just have a guy like that.
And yes, it is just something that Auburn has not used in the way that they could. the last
No.
couple of years. But yeah, so you got 2 commits in the tight end position, and Randy Pittman Jr. from Florida State visited. He's the number 11th ranked tight end, and had 23 receiving, 208 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got 1 year left, but
well, there it is. I mean, you got 2 of them already, and then, I mean, do you add Pittman Jr.? You definitely do. If you can get him again, number
yeah,
11 tight end in the portal, like you said. An offensive tackle, we talked about Stanton Ramil. Excuse me if I've done that wrong. I kind of give myself a little room for error, so I say it both ways. Stanton Ramil from Michigan State. He is an Alabama boy, coming from Thompson High School. Got injured, had 5 starts last year. He was the number 8 tackle in the portal. Also looking at a kid from James Madison who visited, Joseph Simmons. Again, tackle is a unique position in the portal. You just don't have a lot of dominant tackles sitting around out there to be had, and everybody seems to always need to add another one. It doesn't matter how good a season you've had or whatever. That's just a unicorn position, and so can you get him? But getting Stanton yesterday was a big deal, and so I think you'll build on that, and then you move over to guard. You get the kid from Ohio State that came in. He had 14 starts last year at right guard, Tegra Tshabola. So I'm going to say I did it correctly there.
I'm impressed.
So he's the number 2 interior offensive lineman in the portal. Now, that's a big one if you can get that one. So if you start getting guys like that, and of course you got Cole Skinner, it's another South Florida guy, but he's the number 23 interior offensive lineman in the portal. So, I mean, again, you'll see how that kind of plays out. But that's what you're looking at from an offensive line standpoint.
Yeah, we talked about the depth not being there and just bringing in guys and getting numbers there, but
Right.
These are 2 quality guys
They
that
are.
have visited. So even better if you can get quality as well as, the numbers and depth there.
Yeah, the double whammy, that would be huge. Not just grabbing guys to fill
Yeah.
a spot. All right, I'll shift over to you, defensive tackle for Auburn. Obviously, the first thing we talked about this morning.
Yeah, Cody Sigler from Arkansas State, who committed. He had
He had a lot of
35.
offers too, by the way.
Sorry?
He had a lot of offers from
Yeah.
Tennessee and Mississippi State. There's a lot of schools wanting him.
Yeah, a lot of places did, but he had 35 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 6 batted passes. He's the number 83 ranked defensive lineman. But again, those numbers that he put up are good, and you see again what Kieran Crawford that came from Arkansas State, how well he thrived over at Auburn. Not saying it's going to be the same thing, but two scrappy guys.
Look, and we saw Kieran Crawford just get better at Auburn, and so I think this kid could definitely do that. Sadiq Clements from North Texas has visited, the number 64 D lineman in the portal. Hey, Kelby Collins is a guy to watch from Alabama. He doesn't have a ranking, but last year 12 tackles. 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. I mean, nothing spectacular. That is a name to watch. And then another South Florida guy, right, Faith?
Yeah, Trayvon Mitchell, 29 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Got 1 more year left, ranked number 84.
Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him.
Yeah.
Defensive end edge. I think this is one you got to really go get somebody, man, because you don't have a lot of experience and a lot of guys you really feel confident in just stepping up and going, oh, we're good here.
You got a
And
lot of youngsters at
right,
Auburn.
yep. When you look at it, Nate Johnson from Missouri is visiting. And then another Alabama kid, Jordan Ross, that went to Tennessee and maybe looking to come back to the state of Alabama. Can you lure him in? And so in his career, or last year, he had 23 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. So, yeah, Jay, I was about to say you need 2 for sure at this position. So, if we start going down this list, and then in the secondary, we won't dive into all of this. You've already got Fred Gaskin at safety nickel. And then when you look at some corners, you got Gavin Jenkins, obviously from South Florida, but you got Andre Jordan from UCLA visiting. And then you got Cam Calhoun that we saw from
Jordan
Alabama.
Ross did just sign with LSU.
Like when? Just like right now?
Like, let's see, 7 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, 9.
Well, there you go. So
12 minutes ago.
Okay, we'll take that off. So, but again, you got to go out, regardless of that, you got to go get a couple there. And then, but yeah, I think, 14 more guys you got to grab. So,
yeah, definitely still got a lot of guys to go after, but also you've got some more money to spend and spending it across the board.
Yeah, I think you've gotten a couple of key guys the last few days, and then now you're trying to fill some of these positions. So, all right, let's get to some more of our partners here. Got a couple more things we want to talk about, and then you and I will be back on again at noon today to discuss more of this. As you're on live, things break, things happen, and we happen to be going live right when Byron Brown announced. So you just never know. Never know when something's going to happen in this day and age in the portal. Hey, look, I think something else just happened. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Oliver Ross.
For all of your needs this spring, summer, the rest of winter, whatever it might be, have Oliver Ross be your host or your bartending service while you host whatever event it might be. Whether it's 20 people or 20,000 people, Oliver Ross is going to be the bartending service for you. They are professional licensed bartenders. So whether or not you've got any sorority, fraternity day parties, or I don't know, whatever your work might entail, have Oliver Ross be the bartending service for you.
Russell Hospital, Russell Medical Center, voted one of the top 3 hospitals in the state of Alabama. They are partnered with UAB Health. Great facilities, great doctors. Healthcare is the number one most important thing in the world because without good health, none of this other stuff matters. So check out Russell Medical Center for convenience. Don't have to fight the big city traffic. In and out, they'll get you where you need to be. Check out Russell Medical Center in Alexander City for your healthcare needs. Alex City Marine, 256-215-3474. I say this all the time. You need to check them out. They've got the center consoles, the pontoons. They got new and used ones. Look, can you really classify a 25 boat sitting out on the lot as used now? Well, when you roll into the new year, you can. But guess what? It's still brand new because it's sitting out there and nobody's bought it. So you can get a good deal on that. So check out Alex City Marine. Now's the time to do this. Don't wait till summer and your wife's mad because you didn't pull the trigger. You go ahead and do it now. And you can be out on the lake, or you can take it down to the bay or the intercoastal waterway at the coast. And man, just go do something positive. Go buy yourself a boat. I'm telling you. And then the Kart Source, Alabama's premier golf cart superstore, Easy Go, Cushman, Yamaha, Club Car. They've got them all. And if you can't decide which one that you want, buy all of them. Hey, you can use them. You can interchange them, right? You can drive one every single day and drive a different one. But seriously, if you're looking for a golf cart, customized, they've got a ton on the lot. If you can't find something on the lot, my guy Harrison will help you out, and he'll go order you one. Faith loves to go down there and test drive them. We got to go back. We got to go back
Yeah.
and see.
I love going and test driving them.
Absolutely. So I was worried the battery was going to give out. We were on such a long test drive last time.
Battery, they've got gas ones. They've got them all.
That's it. 334-231-2205. Tell them Auburn Blitz sent you, and Harrison will take care of you. All right. Luke said LSU wasn't going to let him visit UA this weekend without throwing the bank in him. Again, this is what's going on, and like everybody's missing on dudes. Alabama's missing on dudes. I think LSU's missing on dudes. I saw a whole thing on some of the guys Alabama's been after, and I mean, this is the world you live in now, man. You got to go after everybody and hope you pick up, ones that can help you. And right now, LSU is just with Lane Kiffin. They're trying to do everything they can to say, look, we're going to grab as much as we can.
However we can do it, blah, blah, blah.
This Lane Kiffin experiment down at LSU, I've got to see how this all plays out. I mean, we're all here.
Everybody's waiting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, we're all here for it. Chris said here more and more chatter that Deuce is heavily considering staying at all. I mean, again, the day-to-day soap opera drama surrounding Deuce Knight, we'll see. So
he eats it all up and just loves it.
There's no question about it. He loves the attention for sure. And if he doesn't feel like he's getting enough, he'll just go delete something off Instagram and wait a few days and then add it back. So, all right, enough of that. Let's go over to the indisputable evidence comment from the SEC office that Stephen Pearl read off yesterday at the press conference. And look, I'm the first to say it shouldn't have come down to this. I get it.
We know that.
You blew the 16-point lead, whatever. But, it does not give a pass to officials. And look, I defended officials yesterday. You have to admit I did. They get put in situations sometimes. But if you make the call on the floor that the basket was good and it's in and I mean, how do you look at that video? I have yet to see anybody say, at any angle, to say, well, it's indisputable that he didn't get the ball out of his hand in time. Like, I haven't found nobody to say
they have to do the same thing that the ACC does in the sense of breaking things down while talking about it across the board for SEC sports.
Yes, I agree. And, to be more transparent, I went on a rant yesterday on the lunch show about, analysts and the dumb comments that announcers say sometimes in the heat of the moment. I was using football as an example. I was using that NFL game between the Chargers and the Texans a couple of weeks ago where it was clearly a hold at the end of the game. And Texans were trying to run the clock out and they had to get a first down. If not, they were going to have to punt. The Chargers would have had an opportunity to drive down, maybe win the game. More drama, right? More. But guess what? Guy held him. Referee threw a flag, and everybody was pissed off after the game. The analysts were like, well, I just can't believe they throw a flag and end the game that way. Well, I'm sorry. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. If it's in the first play of the game, first series of the game, or if it's in the last series, and I hate going, well, it meant more at that time. No, it didn't. It just happened to be at the moment, and the whole game had transpired to that point, which made it a big call. But that doesn't mean turn a blind eye to an obvious penalty just because you want to keep the drama going. I hate it. There was a Super Bowl, I told you, that ended on a penalty. And I think it was one of the Chiefs' years that they won, or maybe it was one of the ones that they lost. I can't remember, but I think it was one of the Chiefs Super Bowls, and the referee threw a flag, and it's like, well, crap. It's not going to be this dramatic ending to the Super Bowl like everybody wanted. But you know what? That guy has to make the call. And it doesn't matter if it's the last play of the game or if it's the first play of the game. It's a foul, it's a foul. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. So in defense of referees, they can't do anything right. When they make a call, oh, I can't believe they did it in that time. If they don't, they miss it, they're like, well, crap. So sometimes they just, and I'll follow up what some other guys say. I wouldn't want to be a referee. Heck,
yeah.
Heck no.
No,
So
not in a million years.
yeah, and Thomas says, I hate the former referees. I mean, like, I get this part. Hey, let's go over to Bill over here and see what his take on it. And then he gives his take, and it's not even what the ruling is. And like last night, that happened a couple of times. Well, that's just definitely targeting. When I was talking with people, and I said, it obviously to me was not targeting because they ran into each other. It was the first one. And I said, well, yeah, it was head to head, but they literally ran into each other. It was not a launch. And the guy said, well, it's clearly targeting. And they come back and go, well, no, it wasn't targeting. I'm like, they paying this guy to come up here and say all this? Like, hell, he don't even know the rules. He didn't. And then when he's wrong, he goes, well, here's why they decided to do it that way. Okay, so basically you're saying, here's why you were wrong. And you had the wrong analysis. So anyway, indisputable video evidence, there was not. Again, this is not sour grapes about, look, I think you and I were about as upfront and honest about how crappy Auburn finished that game as anybody.
Yeah.
But still, if you hit the shot and it was ruled good and you go to the camera replay and you can't tell, it's got to stand. And then to come out with a statement saying, oh, it was indisputable evidence that you had to reverse the call, that's BS.
There's not even like more to talk about it on because it's just.
But just don't blow a 16-point lead, and you ain't got to worry about a referee coming up to the camera. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but it just is the truth. Like, all right. So, anything else this morning? It's been a lot to cover.
No, we'll be on at noon.
Again, we will not be live, but we will be on at noon. So it will be a taped show at noon. So make sure you tune us in right here on YouTube, Facebook, and on statewide TV, Charter 701, Channel 80. For all of you that have Charter Spectrum out there. For our podcast, you can catch us anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, iHeart. I just keep listing them off. I'll stop. Nobody wants to hear that. So anyway, you can find us there. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go do that. Hit the like button. It helps us out tremendously. Okay, Faith, send us out.
I hope everybody has the best day ever. We'll see you at noon.
Absolutely. Just see you in a few hours for more Auburn Blitz.